sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Welcome, everybody, and hello. This is Andrew David, Blake Newbar's partner program. So the question of the day is this market saturated? Is this still going to work? Is this still going to happen? Social media still worthwhile? Does Facebook still work? Sometime towards the middle end of last year, you had this shift from Facebook to Meta. Things going on with other social media platforms. Everybody asking. Apple came up with changes. What could be done from an advertising perspective and not just the global reach? What's happening? Oh my gosh, is this still going to work? On and on and on. How many of you guys have had that thought in the last 6 months or the last 6 weeks? Is this still going to work? So I want to share some interesting things with you. Okay, so these are basic statistics, right? You guys can pull these up. I'm just going to touch a little bit on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, a little bit on TikTok as well. So, there's a lot of different ways to kind of brand yourself on these different platforms. Make that a little bigger. When you look at Facebook, it is still the biggest platform on the planet. Now, some are, I don't even want to say close. A couple of them have got almost half. It still means that there's more, right? You've got, and still really the best way to advertise when you're rolling that way. LinkedIn. So I put together some of this last year, and there was nearly $750 million, and I've updated some things. YouTube's still second biggest search engine out there on the planet. Instagram is a good mix between artistic, video, brands, percentage of people that are on Instagram that are generating a certain amount of revenue for themselves. So creating your personal brand, one of the easiest ways to do that, guys, instead of trying to create things from scratch, is just to share what is going on. That's why we've talked about utilizing yourself, your life, this process, everything else as that brand. If you're kind of curious about that, go back and study Russell Brunson talking about the attractive character. You can go to the YouTube channel and look up videos that I've done on attractive character. All of that's there. Okay, so YouTube. Total number of people who use YouTube. Let's see if this has been updated, shall we? Because this is a little bit old. Let's see if this has gone up. Sometimes we make, okay, there you go. YouTube has 2.6 billion active users. 2.6 billion, guys. I think that's a little bit old. It's doubled. 2.6. So some of you guys thinking about whether or not you should do video. If you're already doing video, some of you guys I realize are a little scared of that, but if you're doing video already for Facebook, you can take that and use it on Instagram. You can use it on TikTok. You can take the TikTok and use it elsewhere. You can use any of them and put it up onto YouTube, especially YouTube Shorts. Almost 5 billion videos are watched on YouTube every single day. That might have gone up. Let's see. We could pull this up. Guys, sometimes we make research a little more complicated than it needs to be, right? Quarter of the world's populations use YouTube every month. Half of the internet users around the world have access to YouTube. So this is still 122 million active users daily. What was the number that I had? Well, I don't have that. Okay. Average mobile viewing session lasts more than 40 minutes. YouTube's a great place to kind of get yourself out there. Okay. Next, LinkedIn. So when I did this with you guys like a year ago, this number was 660 million. You're now at 830 million users on LinkedIn. Some of you guys are working in a niche where LinkedIn is a phenomenal way to generate leads. Absolutely. I generate leads in a number of different niches that I work in, utilizing LinkedIn: addiction recovery, real estate, digital marketers. What else? Real estate investors, mortgage, insurance. It's an opportunity to get introduced to a lot of people. People know that they're there for business. Some of you guys are worried about posting on your other things because Well, I don't want to mix personal and business. Get on LinkedIn. Okay. A lot of the decision makers, people that are going to be looking to change things, LinkedIn is a great place for that. Okay. Facebook. Now, it was 2.74. Now the number is 2.93. This is Facebook advertising. So who is where? This is important. I would kind of pay attention. So, English speaking is what you guys would kind of have to take into play with this. But and I'll share this link with you guys. I'm going to drop this into the chat. And you can click on that and look that up for yourself. But so the thing that's interesting in here, the advertising reach did drop a little because of the iOS update, right? When Apple made the update, it changed some things. So it went down. It's creeping back up. One of the other things that people were worried about was the number of users. So back in March, April, something along those lines, if you guys remember, a earnings report came out. So it was first quarter earnings. So it was right when Ukraine had kind of kicked off, and Facebook limited its reach into Russia and some other places. Does anybody remember that a little bit? So a lot of people were freaking out. Oh my gosh, YouTube's or Facebook's numbers are down. Average number viewers, users are down. What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, and there was this drop off. Despite that, over the last 3 months, April, May, and now beginning June, the numbers have gone up by over 24 million users. So when you look at things, it's still increasing. It's still growing. So the people that you're looking for are there. Facebook users spend on average 34 minutes a day. It's a tremendous percentage of the users are actually using it multiple times a week. Okay. You're going to use your newsfeed. You're going to use stories. So it gets you in front of people in different ways. Now, last week I shared the difference between stories and regular newsfeed. Does anybody need a refresher on what that is, what that looks like? Newsfeed versus stories? Do we have that? Are we good with that? We're solid? Yes? No? A couple people we're okay? All right. What I recommend doing is, no, we're not okay. All right. I'll do a quick.
Andrew, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah. I've done both the stories and the
newsfeed.
And the newsfeed, yes.
Yeah.
My first ones, is it normal not to have any reaction whatsoever? I can't find if there is any reaction at all.
Yes. Because right now you don't have any reach.
And it's right? Like the posts, like the Facebook posts, you have to keep doing it for it to show any.
Yeah, you've got to show Facebook. Yeah, you've got to show Facebook that you're going to be doing it. You've got to interact with others. You have to watch some other stories. You're trying to do things. You need people to start to interact with you. Right now, you're like everybody. When you start, you're starting from zero.
Yes.
So you have zero reach, right? That's got to, the only way you start to change that is you have to kind of teach Facebook and the algorithm that, hey, I'm still going to be around. I'm going to keep doing this. Yes, put my stuff in front of things, right? Keep going after it.
Thanks. Okay.
You can't just, and when I say that, I don't mean like for a couple of days, right? Be consistent. You've got to be consistent. So it shouldn't take a ton of time. So the difference here, these are, if you're on Facebook, if you're logged in, these are going to be your stories, right? And then you're going to have, you can come in and you can watch these, or you could, you can click here, right? So you've got those. You can add story here. I could come in and I can create something. I could put a photo, I could text. So that's how I can do it from here. You can do the same thing on your page. That's when I went to the Rolling Stones concert. This is your news feed, right? This is what you post here. So as you are engaging more and more, people will start to engage with you. You'll start to pop up in their news feed. If you're writing on their pages and then they start commenting back, your stuff will start to pop up in theirs. It's just the way the algorithm works, guys. But you need to be consistent with it. Doing it once or twice isn't going to make it consistent. Okay. So Facebook's monthly active users equate to is actually now over 39% of all the people on the earth today. So here's the thing, to put that in perspective, Facebook's active user base is now larger than the total population of China and India combined. However, Facebook restricts use of its platform to people age 13 and above. So that means 47% of the people on earth are old enough to use Facebook, already do. Then if we remove the people in the age group who live in China where it's still blocked, that means that 59% of the people that are eligible to use Facebook on this planet are using it. So occasionally people say, well, I just don't think that they're there. Well, data would show otherwise. Just do a little bit of that research, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Instagram, over 1 billion people using every month. Let's see. How many people use Instagram every month? This you can do to kind of, how many people? How many people? 1 billion monthly active users as of May 12th. Okay. So we're still good there. Second ranked traditional social network in terms of active users. Instagram reaches 140 million US users. That's 8% increase over 2020, right? Substantially higher percentage of women use Instagram than do men. So some of you ladies, or some of you, all of you guys, if you've got something that is geared more towards women, I would look at Instagram, right? Instagram users spend an average of 30 minutes per day. 200 million Instagram users visit at least one business profile daily. Well, I don't think people go on social media to look at businesses. 200 million Instagram users look at a business profile every day. So yes, they are. So what are you doing to stand out? Okay, on TikTok, I realize these numbers are probably older. These can be updated because there's, I think now over 1 billion users on TikTok as well. So again, still, honestly, guys, if you want to, how many of you guys have thought about doing video? Maybe doing a little more? Yes, good. I would look at TikTok. It's not super complicated, and this is an example of do what I'm, do as I say, not as I'm doing, because I'm not actively using TikTok, although I should. TikTok is one of the best ways to go viral. Like, and a lot of times they'll kind of say that they're not even sure. A lot of the creators not totally sure how the algorithm works there, but you know, you can pop off and hit tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok real quick. If some of you guys remember, my buddy Brock has been on this call a couple of times, talking about branding and other things. He's built himself up hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok in a very short period of time, where for years and years and years trying to do the same thing on Instagram, and it just never happened. So just something to think about, guys, especially if you're planning on doing video. If you're planning on making this a business and that's a way that you want to go, then dive in, okay? Push yourselves a little bit. The whole point of this really is just to help you to look at that, yes, it's still growing, it's still valid, it's still relevant, it's still bigger than you think. If you start to break down how many of these businesses are on there, I mean, look, 200 million Instagram users, so a fifth are going every single day. They're going to a business profile. That's a lot. Facebook, same thing. Now you're stepping in and you're helping these businesses to figure out what they need to do to connect with their audience. That's your role. So when the businesses come to you and say, well, I don't think social media is that big, having some of those statistics can be helpful. You know, I just don't know if you're talking with an attorney, with a mortgage broker, you're talking with, whatever you want to say. Well, hairstylist, I just don't think social media would work for my business, just because they haven't thought about it. right? Years ago, when I was in college, I had already my restoration business. I was doing college part-time, and I was in a marketing class. Now, at the time, I was already doing the Piranha marketing with Joe Polish. Some of you guys remember that. I just had out some of the folders from doing stuff with him. Anyway, marketing plans, business was successful. We were building it up. And in this class, we had the teacher made us do a report on a local business and come up with a marketing plan for any local business that we thought would work. And I asked him if I could do my business because I had a business. Hey, can I put together a marketing plan for my business? He says, is it local? I said, yes, sir. He said, okay, great, go for it. So I put together a marketing plan for my cleaning and restoration business. Pretty well thought out. I networked with a handful of fairly successful cleaning and restoration companies around the country, put together a plan. It was 10, 12 pages, something like that. Turned it in. And this was right when social media was kicking off. Facebook was just starting. We had just at some of the mastermind, the events I was going to, we were just getting the very first time I ever sat through a social media training about Facebook and learning what it was. And we were talking about working with property managers and realtors to help them use it and get referrals from them in order to do, right? Like same stuff that we do now. So I put together this whole plan, and some of it was referral based and some of it was based off of, setting up I had a 1-800 number that they could call, and they could call and hear the top 10 reasons or things that they had to look for when selecting a carpet cleaner. And they could also get an ebook, a PDF with the same things. And this was, 15 years ago. And then from there, we would set up a conversation to have, hopefully a free consultation, come in and look at their home and do a free room of cleaning or do something else. We were walking them through a funnel, right? With an ebook, with all of these things. So anyway, put this whole thing together, and the marketing professor gave me like a C or a D on it. He's like, this isn't going to work. This stuff isn't going to happen. You don't even have the yellow pages in here. What are you thinking? No business that's local is ever going to survive without the yellow pages. And this whole internet thing, like social media for your business, don't worry about that. And this is a college professor, and I just kind of like, whatever. That was one of the last college tests or college classes I ever took, because I just remember thinking, this is stuff I'm already doing for my business. It's making a profit for me. If my professor doesn't understand that, I don't want to learn from people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. The point of this is things will continue to change, and you're going to run into businesses that still, we're in our second decade of social media. They still don't understand how valid it is and how it can be valid for their particular business. And every single one of you is picking up a niche that can benefit from social media. Why? Because their audience is on social media. And that's it. And it's your job to help them understand that. And then give them the solution so they can do it. And that's why you've got the blueprint and the order bump and the masterclass and all these other things. Okay, so you need to, this is why we say pick a niche, study that niche, understand your audience. If you help them understand that, you'll be ahead of that curve. Now, some of them are going to be stubborn. You got to work with it. Help them understand. Give them the information, but tap into the reason they don't think it works is because they're scared of the technology, and that's where you guys come in. The reason they don't think it works is because that's just not the way they did it. It's the same reason that some of them took forever to get to a cell phone or to use a computer versus writing everything. I got my notepad, I just do everything there, as opposed to utilizing the software, right? Contractors that did it that way, as opposed to using an estimating software, right? Email follow-up. No, I'm going to do, they haven't set up their business. They're good at doing the work, but they don't get taught the marketing side. That's where you guys step in. So take a few minutes, guys, study a little bit about social media, bring that confidence back into your brain that yes, it's there. Yes, businesses can do it. Yes, people are there. I can help them out. I can help them find their audience. I can help them make money. I'm going to do that through these products. I'm going to get myself out there, build myself a brand, and make it happen. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Hold on.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.